Hi everyone, it's Williams. Welcome to the video. Today's topic is increasing and decreasing on functions using graphs. You should have already watched Russell's video over maxima, minima, and intercepts. One thing that I want to mention is that in the algebra video that you watched, he is calling them maxes and mins. In PreCal, we're going to use the more correct terminology, which is maxima for more than one and minima for more than one, and just a singular maximum or minimum for one. But for plural, it's maxima or minima. Together, those are sometimes called extrema, which is the plural of extreme. That's just a little vocabulary thing that you need to be aware of going in. If you've not watched that video, please go watch it now, because you need to have that as a background before we begin the PreCal side of things. So you've already talked in that video about x-intercepts, y-intercepts, maxima, and minima, both absolute and local. So right here we've got an absolute max, an absolute maximum, because it's the highest on the entire graph. We've got some x-intercepts right there, right there, right there, right there. We've got a y-intercept. On piecewise graphs where we have multiple chunks, we're not going to talk about local, so I'll never ask you for that on those. But we need to talk about increasing and decreasing in this video. So when we're talking about increasing and decreasing, we're always going from left to right. When we're talking about increasing, we're saying that as we go from left to right, the graph goes up. When we're talking about decreasing, we're saying that as we go from left to right, the graph goes down. And those of you who end up going on to calculus in college, this is a major topic or a major application of one of the topics in calculus. So as we go from left to right, this is going up. And then right here at that point where I stopped, it stops going up and it starts going down. Right here where I stopped, it jumps down to this other piece and starts going up. And then at that point right there, it stops going up and starts going down. So the red parts where it's going up, those are increasing from left to right. And the blue parts where it's going down, those are decreasing from left to right. And we write that in a specific way. We write it as a domain in interval notation. So for increasing, we have the red. We're going to do a domain for that increasing in interval notation. So domain is x values. The x value right there is -7. The x value right there is -5. So it's decreasing from -7 to -5. And then the other chunk where it is increasing is right here, that red chunk. So -1 for the x value to 2 for the x value. So -1 to 2, and we're going to put those together with a union symbol, just like we did when we were doing domain a couple of weeks ago. The blue parts are the decreasing parts, where from left to right it is going downward. So we are going to write that domain as well in interval notation. We start at an x value of -5, and we decrease to right here, the x value of -1, so -5 to -1. And then this is increasing. We decrease on this blue chunk from an x value of 2 to an x value of 5. And again, we are going to put those together with the union symbol. So this is the domain across which the graph is increasing and the domain across which the graph is decreasing. Make sure you put those together with a union notation, because this is domain. We are using x values, not y values. X values, not y values. One other note, these are always going to be parentheses when we're doing domain, when we're doing increasing and decreasing in interval notation. Next one. This one you'll see has arrows on both ends. That is important, that is the change. If you'd like to do the x-intercepts and y-intercepts on this, as well as the maxima, minima, you can, but I will not be doing that on this one. I'll be leaving that as an exercise for you. So this one, we have arrows on both sides. So from left to right, from this infinite direction over here, as we're going to the right, it's coming down as we're going from left to right. So it is decreasing right here. And then at this point, it turns around, that's our turning point, and it starts increasing. It keeps increasing, it keeps increasing. Right here at that point is our turning point, our critical point, you could call it in calculus. So you start right here and it decreases, and at that point, it's our turning point, it's our local minimum. At that turning point, it turns around and starts increasing again. So the decreasing is what's on the furthest left. Let's start with that. We're going to decrease starting at negative infinity because this does go infinitely up and left. So it's going to decrease starting at negative infinity from that negative left direction, from that left forever. And it's going to decrease until this x value. Notice the scale on this, that each line is 1/2, so that's an x value of -2. And it decreases again from this x value of 1 to this x value of 3. Union symbol in the middle, make sure you're using parentheses for this. Increasing from this x value of -2 to this x value of 1. And this x value of 3, and it keeps on increasing forever, which is infinity, union symbol in between the two. These turning points, I mentioned this terminology of turning points, that's the local maxima and local minima. And any of you who ever go on to calculus will also hear these called critical points. So one more example before we're done. This one right here is a smaller graph. Well, not necessarily smaller, but fewer turning points on this where it goes from increasing to decreasing. So let's see. Starting here, going from left to right, it's going down. And then right about there, it's kind of hard to see, but right about there, it does turn around and starts going up. And it ends at that point. So this one is a lot simpler. We've got increasing, let's do decreasing first since that's what's on the farthest left. This, the x value is -5, this, the x value is -1/2. So decreasing from -5 to -1/2. And we don't have any more decreasing, so we do not have to put another one after there with the union notation. And then this is an x value of -1/2, this is an x value of 1. So we're increasing from -1/2 to 1. One thing that I do want to mention is why this is 1/2 and not 1. Remember that this is 2 right here, and there's 4 lines total that 2, so this is counting by 1/2. 1/2, 1, 3/2, 2 in the negative direction. This does look kind of like an ordered pair, but you need to know that this is not an ordered pair. This is a domain in interval notation, the domain across which the graph is increasing and the domain across which the graph is decreasing. So that's all. If you have any questions, email me, or probably not ask them in Google Classroom, just email me. So yeah, until next time, be well, do good.